bring out something, right? We're talking about SNAP EBT food stamps, right? And how white Americans are the biggest participants of SNAP EBT, even though they try to push out that predominantly, as you like to call us, minority or so-called Black and Hispanic people are the beneficiaries of this. You want to know what else you try to do? You also try to say that we benefit the most off of DEI hire. That's what you try to say, and then you read the statistics. Does anybody know who benefits off of DEI hire in America more than anybody else? Does anybody know? Do you know?
Lower class whites.
You're almost on it. It's somebody specific. You're in the right realm though. Think gender.
Mostly free.
No. Look, I'll help you out. It's white women. White women benefit off of DEI hire more than anybody else. But when black women get jobs, when they go to college, get their degrees, get their credentials, get their certificates, when Hispanic women get jobs, even when you like to say illegal immigrant all the time, but even when they are a proper U.S. citizen in your eyes and they're born in this land and identify as Mexican American, you still call them a DEI hire. You call black women a DEI hire. Meanwhile, you're the ones that benefit off of it. And it just goes to show why Esau, or the so-called white man, does not need to be in charge of this world, because as you brought out earlier, he hurts you. He hurts his own people. As long as black people are down, as long as Native Americans are down, as long as so-called Hispanics and Latinos are down, we can sacrifice a few white people. It's okay. We're not going to worry about it. But guess what? The poor white people are actually complaining about it. No offense, but your people shouldn't be in charge anyway, because look at what's happening in America right now.
Right.
We have a homelessness problem in California, but meanwhile, we can give billions of dollars to war, to go fund Ukraine, to go fund Israelis. We can go do that, right? Meanwhile, China, I believe China is about 1.5 billion people. Their homelessness rate is actually lower than the US. And we don't even have half as many people as they do. You want to know why? Because Esau, or as you know him as the devil that the Bible speaks of. Yeah, Exodus 3 and 7.
Come on, the book of Exodus chapter 3 verse 7. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt.
Who are where?
Who are in Egypt.
There was a time when we were in Egypt and we were in captivity. Go ahead.
And have heard their cry before reason.
Heard their cry before a reason. We were crying even then. We were crying to be relieved of our oppression even then. Go ahead.
Of their taskmasters.
Of their who?
Of their taskmasters.
Of their who?
Of their taskmasters.
That would be your policeman. That would be your warden. That would be your military personnel. Your chiefs, your staff sergeants, your admirals, your lieutenants, your commanders, your president. That's who that's talking about, your taskmasters. The people who are tasked over you to be your master and to govern you. You want to know something? You can drop that real quick, right? You want to know something? I said it earlier, white America has to be the biggest gaslighters on the face of the planet, because you love to paint black people as criminals. You love to paint so-called Hispanics as criminals, which is crazy. Because I'm going to debunk your statistics real quick. You say that black people are roughly between 15 to 16% of the population here in America, but meanwhile we commit the most crimes per capita. Well, why is that? It's because, as I brought out earlier, black people are more heavily policed than white people. So guess what? We are convicted of crimes more than the average white American person, which is very funny, because you look at these school shootings, who makes it? It's white people, young white males to be exact. You want to know who commits the most sexual assault crimes in America? It's white males. So yet again, but somehow, we're so dangerous. You got this country off of colonizing it by robbing of the native indigenous people and black people on top of that, but yet somehow we're dangerous. You literally take billions of dollars from your taxpayers, because everybody got to pay their taxes, right? And you go fund war and genocide in other countries and blow up kids, but somehow we're dangerous. You go to other countries and rob them of their resources, and somehow you call them terrorists, but somehow we're dangerous. That's what you do. That's why we say that the is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And the reason why we say this is because you need to hear this. There was a brother earlier who was upset that we made a so-called white man kiss the boots of the prophets. I think that's the least you could do. I mean, white people continue to benefit off of black people every single day. Why does the French still have ties to Haiti? Why does Spain have ties to the Dominican Republic and making money off of them? Why does Portugal have ties to Brazil and making money off of them? Robbing them of their resources, taking money away from them. Why is it that we have to adapt to Eurocentric features here in the Americas? I'm talking about all the Americas. I'm talking about North America, Central America, South America, the Caribbean islands. Why is it that we have to abide by all these things to please white people? Why is it that police officers get to disproportionately black Americans every single day for half the crimes that your people commit? Why is it that black Americans, when they are sentenced, that their sentence is 19% longer than the average white American male? Why is that Donald Trump has 34 felonies and he's able to be a president? That's right. Let that be a black person. Let that be a so-called Hispanic. Let that be a so-called immigrant. Guess what? Your ass is in jail. You're going to prison and you're never getting out. That's what's going to happen, or you're going to get deported. But meanwhile, this is the country that we live in. Read that from the top one more time, Bible Kashaf, Exodus 3 and 7.
The book of Exodus chapter 3 verse 7. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt.
Which are in Egypt. Now you can think of that spiritually as well, because Egypt, what were we? We were in bondage. We were in slavery. We were in captivity. What is America today? America, let me get Micah 2 and 7. Spiritually today, America is Egypt. Y'all saw what happened to Egypt. I don't know if y'all read the Bible or read up on your history, but what happened to Egypt? Egypt was what you would call today a superpower. Right. America, well, they try to make it seem like, but realistically, I don't really know if I believe that. We are supposed to be a superpower. What happened in Egypt? Egypt was decimated. Egypt got plagues. Egypt got disease. You want to know why? Because Pharaoh, or your president, refused to let so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans out of captivity. That's what happened. So the Lord said, you know what? Don't worry. I got you. I'm going to free you myself. And he sent men down there, Moses and Aaron, who are prophets of the Lord, to free our people. And you don't think he won't do the same today? He will do the same, but the difference is you got to abide by the law, statutes, and commandments, man. You got to abide by the law, statutes, and commandments, because if you don't, the Lord ain't going to be with you. Let me get that real quick. Micah 10 and 2.
The book of Micah chapter 2 verse 10. Arise ye and depart.
Arise ye and depart.
For this is not your rest.
This is not your rest. So-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, so-called Native indigenous man, this is not your time of rest. You can't rest. You can't possibly rest. Everywhere you go, you have to monitor yourself. You got a code switch. I know my people know that. When you go to a predominantly white job, you got a code switch. You can't talk how you normally would talk to your brother. You got to kind of be a little submissive because, you know, you don't want to come off too aggressive. You don't want to fit the stereotype because, you know, if a black man raises his voice, up, too aggressive. If a black woman sticks up for herself, up, she's ghetto, she's ratchet. That's what happens. This is not our time of rest because we can't rest. We don't even have our own culture out here, man. That's why we're trying to teach you your culture. You are God's chosen people, man. That's right. And don't you ever forget that. Because the so-called white man, he's trying to play God. He wants you to fear him and not the Lord. That's what he wants. He wants you to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. He wants you to celebrate these pagan holidays. The brother brought it out earlier. What we got next? What, Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving, that ain't nothing but celebrating the deaths and damn near genocide of Native Americans or the northern tribes of Israel, man. Those are our brothers and sisters. And guess what? Black people, I know some of y'all are like, well, Native Americans ain't our people. They ain't got nothing to do with us. Fact check, you were slaves at that time. You were a slave at that time. You wasn't celebrating Thanksgiving. You were on the plantation picking cotton for them so that they could celebrate them colonizing other people.